Hello, friends, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Fort Worth Roots.
Just more to come, man. It's just building on top of each other, just one thing at a time, but it all stemmed from It's Probably You. That podcast has completely changed my life, for sure.
You can find Fort Worth Roots on all your favorite streaming services, also on social media and YouTube as Fort Worth Roots. You can get us by email at media@fortworthroots.com. All that information is in the show notes. At the end of the show, we talk more about upcoming events and our wonderful sponsors. Real quick, I do want to tell you about Body Machine Fitness, located at 2300 West 7th Street in Fort Worth, Texas. They offer a one-of-a-kind cardio strength training group fitness class, and I've been going there for a very long time, and it's something that I feel like everybody has to experience at least once. The good news is your first class is paid. So go to bodymachinefitness.com, check out the tab where you can schedule your first fitness class. Pick a day that works for you, and if you want us to meet you up there, we'll do it. Email me, media@fortworthroots.com. More on our sponsors at the end of the show. This is another recording that happened during a mixer event that we had at Pouring Glory. So you get to hear a little bit of restaurant noise in the background. I think it adds atmosphere. You can find our guest on Instagram as it's_probably_you. And you can also find the podcast by the same name on Apple Podcasts. That's enough talking out of me. Thank y'all for being here. Please give it up for Lance from It's Probably You. Let's start the show. Yeah, immediately I told everybody, I was like, I'm so glad it's with somebody that will definitely understand.
Yep.
So, okay, for the folks just tuning in now, I'm here with Lance.
Yep.
Tell them the name of your podcast.
It's Probably You.
And you can find that on Instagram as?
So it's _probably_ the letter U. And then you can find our website at our website is itsprobablyu.com.
All right. That's who we're here with today, and we have been sitting here actually for about an hour and a half.
Yes.
We had a 45-minute recording at Pouring Glory here for the networking and podcasting event that we put on here June 24th. And anyway, long story short, the building lost power, and we lost the entire file.
Everything.
It's the Achilles heel of the Roadcaster. So anyway, the sick part is I had a battery pack in the vehicle that I came here today in, and there's no reason that I shouldn't have had this hooked up. So from now on,
I don't know, man.
God is my effing witness. I will always use this battery pack now. The reason I didn't use it is because I had absolute control over that plug. It was a solid connection.
Yeah.
There was no reason to worry about the power issue.
Until there was a reason to worry about.
Until the power went out.
But so that wasn't you. First and foremost, that wasn't you.
You're beautiful.
I have so many backup batteries and like battery chargers and battery ports that I just keep on a regular basis. Those things stay juiced up, bro. And the worst thing, in my opinion, is having to use them. So I get it. If you have that battery that's fully charged, you're waiting for an absolute emergency. You just didn't know it was coming.
Right. So just to recap the last episode, some things that I'm really pissed that we lost. We said some really sweet things about Robin and her connecting us and getting us kind of integrated into the city's landscape.
Let's talk about the moment, because it was here, right? So you talk about Robin and some of the work that she's done to try to push the podcasting agenda. I mean, I remember talking about It's Probably You with her and Tim right here in this building, and just kind of thinking through how different some of the shows are. I think you and I are probably on that other spectrum with like the more interviewing of guests and more of a streamlined conversation. We have some of our peers in this space that are like playing music during their show and different segments and doing things that are just a little bit different. And I remember talking to her and Tim from the Funky Panther and just being like, hey, listen, this is the beauty of what makes us who we are, is that we have these various shows, but we're all catering to different demographics. We're catering to different people. I think that's the beauty of it, is that we're not all trying to do the same thing. And because we're not all trying to do the same thing, it gives us the ability of being able to navigate these discussions with each other. Yeah. It's so much easier for me to talk to the Panther City boys about something, because we don't do the same thing. Same thing with Robin. We don't do the same thing. And I think that by having these various perspectives that we get to bring into our discussions, it does help drive the narrative for the city. Yeah. It helps to showcase what the city is all about.
And something you brought up on our previous recording, which we'll continue to reference throughout this recording, is that we have all these different shows, and we have similar audiences, I'm sure, but they are very different. And the connecting fiber that puts us all together in the same space is that we're very collaborative, and that's something unique to Fort Worth. And as long as we can continue to work with one another inside this artistic / podcast community / music community, whatever you want to call it, there's some big things for all the shows in the future.
Everybody wins if all of us win. Yeah. And I think that having that mentality does help to not only push our own like agendas and things that we want to accomplish, but I do feel like the audience can feel that, right? There is a lot of crossover. I know that there are people that listen to me that listen to the other podcasts and vice versa. I know that some of the people that listen to me are going to hear about some of the conversations I have elsewhere and go and seek that out, and the same thing happens. So by us having these positive relationships and us leaning into the differences that we have and not letting that actually stop us but empower us, you can't quantify what that can do for the reach. Like just talking about like the yoga piece for me specifically, this podcast has opened up way more doors than I would have ever thought possible had I not just started. And it's the starting point that I feel like is the hardest for most people, because you probably experienced this. The first year, you're just kind of like feel like you're talking into a vacuum.
For sure.
You feel like you're talking into a vacuum, and you're getting little interaction. But if you're enjoying yourself, if people are proactively wanting to be a part of what you're building, you got to keep building. You got to keep building, because you just don't know what's on the other side of what you're doing.
I laugh at people. I don't laugh at their faces or to their faces, but people, haphazardly will say something like, I've been thinking about starting a podcast, and I always rebuttal with, why? Why would you do that? And I want to hear their why, because if your idea is, well, I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan, of course.
Yeah, right.
Or something anywhere inside that neighborhood, I'm like, you just need to not.
It's not for you.
You need to approach it as, I just want to have a podcast, because
I want to tell my story.
That's what you're going to get. Especially for the first year.
Yes.
And then you might start making some connections and talking to some cool people, but that's been the biggest benefit to me just as a person doing the podcast, is the connections I've made. Earlier before we lost the file, where I lost the file, I pointed out that, yes ma'am, that we've got so many stars in this room right now. We've got local musicians in here. Earlier we had Jeff Lord from the Funky Town podcast here. We've got Dustin Snyder now from the Jerry Jonestown Massacre. We've got Brian Breckenridge, a local comedian, just an absolute killer on stage. We've got the mayor of River Oaks sitting right there across from us.
It's wild.
But the point is, if it wasn't for podcasts, these people wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. And it's the power of connection. It's the power of possibility, right? The thing about podcasting that I've really grown to enjoy over my time is when I step into that conversation with that individual, whoever it may be on the show with me that day, or when I step into somebody else's space and come onto their show, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where that conversation is going to go. There's so many unknowns, but the thing that we can control is our approach to paying attention to that person. I think for us specifically, doing these like one-on-one interview-based podcasts, I think what we can do and what we can bring to the table is that awareness, is that attention. I try so hard on It's Probably You to make sure that whoever's on my show looks the best that they possibly can.
Oh, 100%.
That is so important to me, that person walks away with a really good experience, so that they're, one, willing to tell people that they were on the show, but two, that they might be willing to come back, or they might be willing to collaborate on something else.
Well, not only that, other people are going to listen to that episode, and they're going to go, oh, I want to be on that show. Did you hear how good that person sounded, or whatever, but you want to foster a positive relationship with every single one of your guests. And I'll tell you right now, I've had maybe a dozen people on my show where I'm like, this was a bad idea. But I did everything I could to make them sound good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I have been in the middle of an interview and been like, oh shit, I need to pivot this. I need to do something because this is not working. And I've been on somebody else's show and I've been like, oh, this ain't it. This doesn't work for me specifically. But there's nothing I can do about it, right? I'm gonna stand in there. I'm gonna give it the best that I can, and that is the crapshoot, right? Yeah. You find somebody interesting, but not everyone can verbalize their story.
Right.
Not everybody can like communicate why they're the badass that you know they are.
Right.
Some people just are.
Yes,
They just are badass for whatever way.
And not everybody can articulate their story as well as they you wish they could, because you know that you've got gold in front of you.
Yes.
So I actually, I'm not going to call his name out, but I did just do a recording recently, like in the last couple of weeks. And this guy is a Fort Worth legend. I mean, he is, and he's got so many stories to tell. But after the recording, when we got off, he's like, yeah, I could have talked about this, I could have talked about that, but I don't want to come off as somebody that's just sitting there patting myself on the back. And I kind of understood what he's talking about, because some of the stories he could tell you, they sound like bullshit because they're so crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to navigate that. That's something I've got to figure out. But I did tell him, I'm like, you know what I want to do next time? I want to have somebody that knows you sit down with us.
Smart.
Because they can back up your stories.
Yep.
They can tell you, oh, tell them about this.
Oh, give me extra detail. Give something else that solidifies how real it is.
Yeah, because I've just got the broad strokes. I know that you did this, and this. And inside of that are 1,000 badass stories.
And that's what we're trying to get at. You're trying to get to the actual story behind how it happened.
Yeah.
But that's why I've always enjoyed having other podcasters that I've either, like the people that like I know how they do their show. I love going on to other shows because I like stepping into somebody else's creative workshop. Like I like seeing somebody else's creative process because it helps me to be like, okay, where can I step up my game? Where can I refine my game? I'm an Apple fanboy. Everybody knows it. So like, but I have a DJI mic, but that's mostly like my vision is, okay, am I going to do a yoga YouTube channel? The DJI microphone would be perfect for me to record audio while I teach. I'm already looking up like, is there a way for me to use that microphone and plug it into a speaker so when I'm teaching at some of these other venues come the fall? So it's like looking at just audio itself helps me to rethink like my show and what I do, because I am very Mac reliant. Am I getting a new MacBook for the podcast for the fall? Maybe, but like these are just the things you have to do. You know, these are just the things you have to do.
Now help me out with the Apple culture. What happens with these really expensive MacBook Air Pro, Apple this, that, or whatever? Whenever 2 years goes by and now the new one comes out, can you take that Apple in and get like an upgrade?
My man, let me tell you, I have not bought a full price device. I have not bought a full priced Apple device since 2018. I have traded something in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trade in my Intel MacBook and get a new M2. I just haven't decided if I'm going to be doing a YouTube channel and going down that path for real, then I'm going to need a Pro. If not, and if I'm just going to be doing kind of what I'm doing now, just podcasting, recording, editing, and all that, I can get away with an Air. But you can trade in your old devices to get credit and money towards your new devices. Yeah. I don't pay full price for shit. I don't pay full price for anything except for food and experiences. Other than that, I'm getting a deal. So, yeah, absolutely. I am a fanboy, but I am a practical fanboy. I'm not one of the crazy ones who are just like, let me go spend $3,000 because I just believe. It's like, no, I've already got everything in the ecosystem, so it's easier to be in the ecosystem.
Hey, what do you got going on over here?
Hey, how are you? Here's a microphone. You talking to it?
For what?
So that people can hear you.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. This is a podcast, so people.
That's what I'm asking you. I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Shuri. You want me to talk?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, my name is Shuri.
Hi,
Dutton.
Shuri.
Hi. And I own Puppy Love Pet Care.
Okay.
Nice.
And
No property in Montana, though. You said your last name's
I'm
Dutton?
not Beth Dutton.
Okay,
I'm Shuri
okay.
Dutton.
Just checking. Just checking.
And we host dogs in our home.
Oh, okay.
And my son will also go check in on dogs and walk dogs.
Nice.
We also will check in on cats and other pets.
Okay.
But in our home is dogs.
Nice.
Very cool. How many dogs at a time?
We've had 15.
Jeez. Too many dogs.
What is that
adults
like?
living there.
Too many dogs at one time.
It's all hands on deck.
What if a fight breaks out?
We pull them apart.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it has happened. We pull them apart.
Yeah.
And they go in crates if they need to.
Whoa.
They swim in our pool.
Okay.
It's awesome. We love it. And I wanted to come out here today to support the event
Very cool.
and to show the community that we support dog fosters, dog rescues, dog adoptions. And we will take in dogs when we're not busy for temporary fosters, like if they're going to be transported somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, I want to start supporting that.
Very
This is
cool.
the rescue.
Nice.
Thank
Very
you so
awesome.
much for being here today.
Thank
What's your
you.
favorite podcast?
My favorite podcast. I don't have one because Fort Worth Roots. That sounds amazing.
That's your new favorite
Was that a question mark at the end of that? No, yeah. Fort Worth Roots, yeah.
We got your new one.
I'm new to Fort Worth Roots, so now I'll have to go check it out.
Very cool.
Nice.
That's why I'm here. I wanted to see what you were doing.
What do you listen to music on? What app?
I do not. I listen to music when my husband turns it on.
Yeah.
I don't have my own app for music.
Well, you can find us on all the things.
Yeah,
So.
all the things.
Yeah.
All of the things.
You just type Fort Worth Roots and it'll come up.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here.
And this is your.
Well, that's a musician that was on the show a minute ago, but you're welcome to take that. He's an incredible artist. You might really like it.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here today and supporting dog adoption.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Mrs. Dutton.
Thank you. I will say that I tried to do puppy yoga.
Yeah? How does that work?
It was a disaster. It does not work.
Everybody just stops and starts
Oh my
playing with the
God,
dogs.
dude! It was so bad.
That's what I would do.
Well, the issue was that they weren't puppies; they were full-grown dogs. So it was just dog yoga, and they were bowling over people. But I will say this though: they were cute as shit. They were pretty well behaved for the circumstances. But it was good because I realized that dog yoga's not for me. It's I'm not the one. But did I have fun playing with the dogs and hanging out with them after? You bet your ass I did. But I feel like already beer yoga is a little bit of a stretch for me because it's not how I do my practice. But I have enjoyed the environment that Funky Picnic has built up. So I've been able to kind of make it my own when it comes to teaching there. But the Hotel Dries thing, that's like a whole other beast.
Now, what are y'all doing out there?
Man, this is fantastic. So shout out to Jonathan and Allie for really putting this together. Mostly Allie. I mean, she worked really hard on like coordinating this. But there is 3 teachers. We're teaching at Hotel Dries every Wednesday at 7:15 for Sunset Yoga. Okay. It is just so badass. The people have been bringing all this energy to the space, and that is it. So you get discounted tab when you walk in, and we're out there vibing, man. $15 for the class, and we are right across from Dickies Arena. And the way that the sun sets there, and like over in the, if you are from here and you've been downtown at that time, you already know it's badass when you see the sun come down near all the museums and all of that. We're right in the thick of it, man, and it just looks so freaking cool as the sun is coming down in the middle of class. And that's it. It's just it's a sunset yoga class. Again, every Wednesday 7:15, and we're just rotating teachers. Our hope is that in the next few months we'll bring in another teacher to join us, but for the time being, we are really enjoying myself, Mary, and Allie. We've built out this nice little team, and Hotel Dries is doing a lot of things, man. They have a lot of events going on. They have a lot of activities, and they were like, hey, would you like to add to the program? Hell yeah, count me in.
That's so cool.
Being able to bring it to more people in a different environment. And I know that I won't say it yet until it's like all official, but come this fall, I've got one pretty big distillery that I've been in talks with about doing maybe a series of classes there, and another shop that wants me to come in that has a nice outdoor space that I can utilize in the fall for a class. So just more to come, man. It's just building on top of each other, just one thing at a time. But it all stemmed from It's Probably You. That podcast has completely changed my life, for sure.
That is so awesome. We lost so much good content. I'm sitting here just still reeling from that. But
well, there's nothing we can do about it. It already took place. And I like we talked about earlier, if this was going to happen, isn't it so much better that it happened to a podcaster? Like, dude, I remember one time with the owner of Funky Picnic, for whatever reason, this was during the pandemic, the audio, we did it on Zencastr, and my audio file came over from Zencastr, but his did not. And then even when I tried to get him to log in to get it, it did not send it over to me. We had to redo the whole episode a week later.
Yeah,
and
that's terrible.
you know how some of these things work. I usually am 2 weeks ahead, but I'm not always 2 weeks ahead.
Right.
Like, you know how that is.
So
like,
you needed it.
I needed it that time, and I didn't have it. So then me and my co-host Jesus had to go and put something together really quick on the fly, which was a lot. I was going to say this to you. How have you ever considered bringing on a co-host?
Yeah, I'm pretty serious about it. And to tell you the truth, your personality and your vibe would definitely match up really well with the Fort Worth Roots podcast. I definitely want to do that. I just need to iron out some no, I don't. I just need to invite somebody in.
You need. I think that you would enjoy it. Because you're really good at asking questions, right? That's what I picked up on. You're really good at asking questions. You do your research, which I feel like if you're doing an interview podcast, you have to. But I know that you've probably got a lot of your own ideas as well. So the thing that I've really enjoyed about having a co-host is it has given me the freedom to be able to like have that back and forth banter and express more of my own opinion. I feel like, and you can tell me if you feel this way too, I feel like when I'm with a guest, I can only give so much of my own opinion while having that conversation because I'm trying to push that other person. I'm trying to make them the focal point of what we're discussing.
Yeah. Real quick, there's Richard Keller, Itchy Richie and the Burning Sensations. Big old nerd. What are you doing, nerd? Hey, nerd.
It's so, I just find it to be hilarious that as people are walking in, that you've got the speaker. That I feel like this is what I need to do at Leaves, right? I need to have the speaker set up on the outside of Leaves, in the middle of like where like the table and everything is while people are coming in. How amazing would that be?
I started doing this at the 100th episode event.
Yes,
and
I remember. But you were out there. You had like you had a whole entire like setup and everything.
And we're gonna do it again this year. It's gonna be bigger. Coming this September. Date pending.
Smart man.
Yeah, and I'd like to get the same group of podcasters involved in that. And we've got a couple of new podcasts that have really excellent podcasts that have popped up
I've seen
over
that.
the year.
I've seen that we've had a nice little influx of additional new content that's coming in.
Yeah.
I love seeing all of the growth. I love seeing all the creativity. I think that what makes me really excited about the future is, and this is just kind of the energy that I picked up, none of us seem to be insecure about like where we are in our own spaces.
Yeah.
No, there's no insecurity. There's no sadness. There's no like make me the center of attention. It's very much like okay, we can all win.
I think that might be kind of just a naturally indicative thing. Like you're going to have to be in order to sustain yourself through the podcast journey because like, I don't know if it was this recording or the last one, but we talked about how the first year
it's rough.
It's nothing.
It's rough.
You know, you're going to get 10 downloads per episode if you're lucky. And most of them are your friends.
Yep.
And then eventually, if your content sucks, they're going to quit listening.
Yep. They're also going to dip out or give you feedback that's like, hey, listen, maybe you want to talk about something else. I literally got that. So I don't know if you know the story, but it's probably you. It started out as a sports podcast.
Oh, really?
So the very first episode is like an hour and 10 minutes long. And I swear like 45 to 50 minutes of it is like us trying to do like a sports show, right? Like us really leaning into a sports show. It was a whole other host that was with me.
Was that the original name?
That was. It's always been It's Probably You. So
Okay.
it's always been It's Probably You. And the goal was for it to be like a sports podcast, but we talk about like work stuff. And I remember we did the first part of it, all sports, and then we did the second. So we actually did like an intermission in the episode, and then came and just started talking about like the work content and just kind of like sharing our opinions on things. But I'll never forget one of my close guy friends was like, "Hey, listen, first part a little rough, a little rough. I don't know about that. Don't know about the sports talk. He's like, you guys kept agreeing about a lot of stuff, so it didn't really seem like a sports talk. You guys were just kind of sports agreeing. That was kind of weird. And he's like, but that second part. He's like, I like that second part. He's like, I like the other stuff that you guys are talking about. So then we just literally, the very next episode, we scrapped all the sports. It cut the episode in half. And ever since then, it has just been like these small evolutions. Yeah. First, it was work talk. Then we went through a pandemic. Not a lot to talk about when it comes to office politics and everything because we weren't in the office. So then it evolved again. And it evolved one more time last year where it really, the focus is on like mindfulness, like how do you execute, how do you create the life that you want, and really showcasing some of these people in Fort Worth that are making incredible things happen and giving people their story so that they can feel empowered to do the same thing. Yeah. But it has gone through 3 iterations of the show. 3. That's in a 3 years. So you have to be willing to make that. You have to be willing to do that, though. I think that's. I feel like some people get so caught up in the initial idea.
This is gonna be like this.
This is gonna be like this, but they don't even realize what they're like in that environment, right? There's something you've got to actually step into the space to know what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
I think there's anybody can assume what the end product is gonna be. I was really happy that my whole entire group. There's me, my co-host, there was another co-host, and then we have like a little support system network of people that kind of help with like how does it sound, like what it's doing, like getting a lot of different feedback. I'm happy I had that support system to keep being like, yeah, fix that, yeah, change that, yeah, do that. Yeah. And I wasn't sensitive about it because I don't take it personal.
Right.
It's not they're not personally attacking me. And most of the time when someone tells you something that's difficult to hear, it's because they actually care.
Right. Yeah.
Most people, I'm not gonna have hard conversations with people that why waste the energy? Right. I don't need to. Like I'll let life figure it out for them.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like let life humble them. I don't need to. But people who say that they care about you, they should bring some difficult things to your doorstep that make you think.
Earlier, whenever I was bringing up the fact that we lost the file, like for the 3rd time I brought it up. But the thing that I was trying to get to is in the last recording we did, I just wanted to point out that Lance was talking about his wife and how that support system was so integral to everything that you've accomplished.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that your wife got a chance to hear that because that was one of the biggest tragedies of losing that last recording. You did point out that as we were talking about the difficulties of maintaining a schedule and being as productive as you are, it has got to be increasingly difficult with having a family.
Yeah.
But you credited that as part of your success because really your wife is just a huge support for everything that you accomplish.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose that.
Oh, I appreciate that. And for those who might not know a lot about me, so I do have a corporate job. I'm a financial advisor. And then outside of that space, I have a photography business where my wife and I do product photography. I also do street photography, and I sell street photography prints. One of my biggest flexes is that one of my photos is in City Hall. So that was really cool to have someone. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it was, but I did have somebody buy my print in a big print, and I got a tour. I got to walk around and see the whole office. So that was really cool for me.
Who bought that painting?
I can't say who.
Who was it?
Somebody. I'll say somebody bought a big print for me, and I got to bring it to that individual and walk around. Man. Dude, that was so cool for me. I got a whole.
Now, what's the deal there? Why can't you give us the name?
Because I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
oh
no, you're good. It was that to me was one of those like cool moments of like, okay, so like the street photography thing, although I do it just for me, there are a lot of people who are enjoying it, and it's cool to see. Like, I don't make a ton of money with the prints. It's mostly the product photography where like I have a project, I know exactly what I'm working on, I have my shot list, and then we go through it and we create it for them. So that part of it has been really cool in the photography space.
Where can the listeners see your photography?
So it's on my Instagram at @that_LDP. If you go into my link tree, I've actually got the Photoshop up. Very so you can actually go straight to the Photoshop.
And I've seen some of your work. It's incredible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I take a lot of pride. I take a lot of pride. That's been a lot of work, man. That was a lot of work to get to that point to be good at it. But I do want to tell that story that I told you just so we can make sure that it gets captured because it does bring 100%. In my wife and everything. if you listen to It's Probably you'll know that every so often I'm just going to do a challenge. And I've been doing those really forever, right? I've always wanted to challenge myself and better myself. And I like being uncomfortable because it tells you a lot about who you are. Well, I decided to do a 30-day challenge with yoga where I was going to do 10 minutes of yoga every single day. And when I went into the challenge, I didn't even feel comfortable or like confident that I was going to be able to do it. But then I look at my Apple Watch and it's been 45 days and I'd already done it. And we were talking about that intersection, right?
Yeah. And opportunity and preparedness.
When they intersect. So I'm doing this challenge. I'm not thinking much of it. I'm just enjoying it. And 10 minutes was the minimum. So like I was doing 10 minutes. I was doing 15. I was doing 25, 35. All of a sudden, a studio here in Fort Worth, it's a national studio, but they're in Fort Worth. They're giving out scholarships for people to come and teach with them. So I just put in for it, and I ended up getting it. And I would not have done that, one, if I didn't have my wife, who's somebody that I knew I could kind of lean on while going through that. She ended up doing it with me, so she's also 200-hour certified. She just doesn't teach. But we went through all of that together, and it always makes me feel like you never know what's on the other side of the work that you're doing now.
Right, and you were telling us that you never would have taken that scholarship challenge if it hadn't have been for what you were doing before that.
Yes, I would have never thought that I was prepared enough to go into learning more about it.
Right.
If I hadn't seen the value that it added to me first. And every so often I just have like this weird like epiphany and thought process about that was a pivotal moment where I was able to say like I'm doing something for me, having no idea about the impact that it would have down the road. So it was pretty amazing.
That's incredible. I think that's a point that we covered earlier that, we needed to make sure was on this recording, but you don't get lucky. You get the intersection of preparedness, meaning you're constantly working towards a goal, and then all of a sudden the opportunity presents itself, and bam, the intersection occurs. That's luck.
Yes.
You talk about lucky people.
Yeah.
They were preparing, an opportunity presented itself, and they were able to take advantage of it. That's
exactly.
What happened to you.
And that's where I credit my wife for being that support system and that rock, because I'm teaching yoga the first Saturday every month. I'm teaching every couple of Wednesdays. I've got, every so often somebody will reach out and want a project done, so now I've got to create a shot list and start going through it. Want to talk about a rock star. So before any episode goes up, she edits it. When I write notes, she edits it. When I go through and I'm getting ready to send that out to a client after I've gone through everything, she goes through. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm good for right now. She goes through and she takes care of a lot of these things for me and makes sure that she's my quality control across social media, the website. Before I put how doing the write-ups for a podcast episode, my God, making sure you don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think you get on their social media.
Wait till you get some sponsors.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't want any sponsors. I've already been like, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to deal with that.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole freaking thing, dude. And I don't want to have to sign any agreements so I've stayed away from that. But it's just these little things that she helps me to make sure are in order.
Yeah.
And then with our daughter, she's been a rock star. So I couldn't be this productive. I couldn't accomplish all these things. And some people will be like, well, doesn't your wife have other things that she wants to do? I'm like, no. She does. If it was up to her, she would work half as much as she does and make the same amount of money. Trust me, I'm not stealing any of her shine.
Right.
She don't want this life. She don't want to do this. She likes her shows. She likes to be able to hang out. She likes to spend time with our daughter. She is living her best
What's your wife's name?
Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yes.
Because we've got Lance here, and he is a shining star, and it sounds like you're a big part of that. Thank you, Catherine.
Absolutely.
We talked about Dryce. We also, last episode, talked about Funky Picnic every Saturday at what time?
Oh, so it's going to be the first Saturday in every month at 10 a.m. You can actually find that on their site. And as soon as I figure out how I can put it on my link tree, it'll be on my link tree as well. But that'll be the first Saturday every single month. I'm going to be at Funky Picnic, and then the third Wednesday of every month. Well, it's like until we get our another teachers. Just be on my social _LDP. I'll be broadcasting. But I will tell you right now, those other teachers that I'm with right now, they have been teaching way longer than I have, and they are some badass women. So even if you just want to go to Hotel Dry and experience it, you don't have to wait for me. Trust me, you will not be disappointed if you have a class with either one of them. They are incredible individuals. Awesome. And that was the main reason why I did it. It's like, I've never had a studio. I've never worked in a studio. I've never worked with other teachers outside of training. So this is like my first glimpse of getting like things that I didn't think about. Things that they're helping me fill in knowledge gaps that I had, that I didn't even know I had.
Right.
But some of that does come on me of like we talked about, being self-aware, not being insecure, and realizing that they just want me to be better. Yeah. Whether they want me to be better so that the whole experience is better, it doesn't matter.
Either way.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. They're helping me be better. Right. So I definitely shout out to Mary and Allie for that as well.
Bro, I got to tell you, I need to surround myself with highly energetic, extremely productive, wonderful people just like you. I'm so glad that you're here today.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to go ahead, before you get out of here today, let's schedule another interview.
Yeah.
It's not even an interview. It's a talk. It's a thing, an episode, a recording.
Oh, for sure. For sure. This was a lot of fun. And, right. Right now, it's probably you. We're on our normal break. We'll be back in the fall. I will tell you. Got something really fun planned.
And tag me on the socials, and I'll repost it. I don't know if you see that, but I repost everybody's shit.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I like the love and support that this podcast squad has given, and I've been waiting to come onto your show. I've been fortunate to come on to a couple different shows with our friends, so I'm happy you invited me.
Bro, this is a long time coming.
I know.
And man, sorry about the technical difficulties earlier.
Listen, man, this is the beauty of being with another podcaster,
and
bro.
Shout out to the entire pod squad. We talked a lot about that before we lost that file.
Yeah.
The support that we've gotten from the people inside our little arena has been so integral to the growth of our shows.
Yep. That cross pollination has been really strong because we all have some various types of shows and some different ways that we go about it. Being able to bring different people and different audiences to both of our doorsteps has been huge.
It really has been, man. Thank you again.
Yeah, for sure.
And
it was a pleasure.
Anytime we throw one of these events and somebody comes out to support us, it's humbling and it's awesome, and I love you very much.
Amen. Thank you for having me on.
Thank y'all for being here. We'll see you next week. A huge thank you to today's guest. Thank you for coming out to this mixer event and recording with us. We're going to do more of these in the future. We invite the entire DFW community out to these mixers. Give them the opportunity to meet other people, sit down and record with us, talk about what their project's been up to, or what they've been up to with their projects, and maybe a little bit about their business or their show or whatever else. It's a mixer. Figure it out. Whatever you want to do. But thank y'all sincerely. We had a lot of people show up for this, and it was one of those things. We were trying to test this out and just see if it was something people would want to do. And we got our answer. We had a whole bunch of folks show up. A lot of cool cats and kittens. So anyway, we're going to do it again. This time we're going to do it at McFly's Pub. Nothing's been set up yet. Still got to talk to Casey over there. If you do go to McFly's Pub, tell Casey you heard about him on the show. That I don't mean like that's the first time you went in there and it's because of me that you went in there. But you did hear about him just now. You heard about McFly's. So tell him next time. Do it for me. Do it for the show. Anyway, we'll do another mixer. If you missed this one, no biggie. We'll keep doing them as long as you guys keep showing up for them. So anyway, thanks everybody that came out. All right, September 23rd out at Pouring Glory, we are going to be doing the big show, the big event. We did it last year. We're doing it again. Last year we had 250 people show up. Whenever at best count, it was at least that many. We want to try to double that this year, and this is why you need to come out this year. 4 bands. We're going to have Itchy Richie and the Burning Sensation, Cassandra May Laurence, Late to the Station, and Jaybirds, all playing for you. Oh, by the way, did I mention this has been paid for? your admission has already been covered by our wonderful sponsors, who we'll talk about here in just a minute. There's going to be a vendor market, special food menu that Scott's putting together out there at Pouring Glory. It's going to be a great day. Last year was so much fun. It really legitimately was just a big old party, and we had a great time. So we'd love for you to come out this year. Help us support Cook Children's Hospital. Help us celebrate another year of podcasting, and just get to see a bunch of awesome people. There's going to be another award show. There was an award show last year where we congratulated a bunch of podcasters. We've got some more interesting award categories this year. So you're not going to want to miss this. You might even be getting an award. If you're listening to this, you might very well be one of the people that's getting an award. So anyway, September 23rd, starts at 11, goes until 6. And more details will be on the Facebook event. It gives me the option to post stuff as we update information. So go to Facebook, tell the event thingy that you're either interested or going, and then it will let you know every time we update it with more information. And if you don't know already, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and all the streaming services. Just look for Fort Worth Roots. You already knew that. Our email also is media@fortworthroots. All this information will be in the show notes, so you don't have to be taking notes. Speaking of not taking notes, sponsor time. Go check out our friends at Cowtown Nutrition. They're located at 5430 River Oaks Blvd. They offer a healthy alternative to that compulsory fast food craving. You can also load up on your favorite Herbalife products and learn about their fitness groups that they hold on location at Cowtown Nutrition. Check them out on Instagram at Cowtown_nutrition. Pouring Glory, where the big event's going to be at, 1001 Bryan Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, just off South Main Street. Pouring Glory is a growler refilling station that serves craft beer and award-winning food with live music. They've got a very impressive outdoor area. Take advantage of Dog Park Sunday, 11 to 4, I think. Take your fur babies off of their collar and let them run around and socialize with the other fur babies. Body Machine Fitness, 2300 West 7th Street in Fort Worth, Texas. They offer a truly one-of-a-kind fitness experience. Your first class has already been paid for. Go to bodymachinefitness.com to schedule your first high-energy cardio strength group fitness class with best-in-industry trainer, cutting-edge audio and lighting. Show up early or stay after the class for the IR sauna and nutritious snacks in the lobby. I've been going here for a while. I just recently went on vacation down to Gulf Shores, and we had a great time, but we're having trouble getting back on the bandwagon. We were killing it. We were going to Body Machine Fitness twice a week. We were feeling great, and we could tell a difference in our physique, and our bodies are tightening up, and I don't know, it's great. And it's not miserable. I've done classes. I've been to the gym. I've been doing this my whole life, and it's not always fun. But Body Machine Fitness, they keep it very energetic, very fun, and it's a good energy. As people know what they're doing. So anyway, like I said in the little read there, your first class is paid for. You just go to bodymachinefitness.com, click on the tab, schedule your first high-energy cardio strength group fitness class, and you pick a date and time that works for you. And then if you want us to go with you, there's 2 of us now here at the Fort Worth Roots Body Machine Fitness workout club that I just made up. Anyway, we will go with you. Hit me up, media@fortworthroots.com, and just tell me what you're planning on doing, and we'll work out a day to go with you. McFly's Pub, 6104 LTJG Barnett Road, Fort Worth, Texas. Just put it in your navigation. McFly's Pub. It's a 1980s Back to the Future themed bar with a very impressive outdoor area, fire pit. You can hang out with your buddies. You can bring some friends for pool, dart, cornhole, jumbo, Jenga. You can catch a live show. Every Tuesday, Tommy Luke's out there doing a open mic night. That's always fun to do. And if you run into Casey, the owner there, tell him you heard about McFly's on the Fort Worth Roots podcast. Will he give you something for it? I don't know. Probably not. But he'll be like, oh, cool. I listen to that show too. Wood Post Metalworks. Wood Post Metalworks, you can get 10% off using offer code podcast817. They specialize in metal signs with or without LED backlighting, fence and gate repair or installation, light steel fabrication, industrial plasma cutting, and more. Houck Walker Originals, you can go to houckwalker.com. They offer a huge variety of unique and personalized gifts, also laser engraving to customize just about anything you can think of. Again, that's haukwalker.com. And those two right there, if you got an anniversary, birthday, Christmas, whatever, you got something coming up where you need to buy somebody a unique, thoughtful gift, holler at these people, tell them what your idea is, and they'll make it for you. Hauk Walker Originals is really good about taking an item and customizing it for you. Wood Post Metalworks is really excellent at taking an idea and then making it out of steel. So there's some options for you. All right, Roofing Solutions by Darren Hauk. These folks have been taking care of the Fort Worth Roots podcast for a very long time, and they can take care of you too. They'll even give you 50% off just by mentioning the Fort Worth Roots podcast for a roofing tune-up. That's when they get on your roof, they check all the pipe jacks and vents and make sure that the sealant around them is covered. They're also going to identify any other damages, and they're not up there trying to find more things to charge you with. In fact, if they find more damage than what the roofing tune-up will cover, they come down off the roof, they'll show you the pictures, and you won't owe them a thing for that roofing tune-up. They'll stop work immediately, come on down, show you the pictures, and then if you need help working through the insurance process, they got you. 817-882-6520. Get more information at roofingsolutionshauk.com. And again, this is all in the show notes. Also, you can find me posting about these people all the time on our social media pages. That's just Fort Worth Roots on all of it. All right. Who else? Who else do we need to talk about today? That's it, man. That's all of our sponsors. If you think you'd like to sponsor the show, you can hit me up, media@fortworthroots.com. I think that's it, folks. September 23rd, we would love to see you out there. Like I said, it's going to be supporting a great cause. I personally I do not have children myself, but I have friends, and some of my friends have kids, and some of my friends and their kids have had to spend some time up there at Cook Children's Hospital, and I cannot brag on these people enough. The reason that that's our charity that we decided that we wanted to work with, we just picked one, right? But there's a reason we picked this one, because I've seen what they do for the families. I've seen how hard they work to not only treat these children, but make sure that they're comfortable. They cater as much to their emotional side as they do their physical side. I'm going to get choked up if I talk about this too much, but these people are doing incredible work. And you're not necessarily supporting them. You're supporting the children and their families and making sure that can continue. These families can't always pay for the treatment that these kids get. And there's a lot of other stuff, and I'm going to try to do a social media video, just a real quick informational video from somebody up there at Cook Children's, trying to work that out. Started that process today. We'll see if we can get something sorted, but just have somebody intelligently talk about it rather than me just babbling about thoughts and feelings. So anyway, it's going to be a good day out there. September 23rd, I ordered 88-degree weather, partly cloudy with a nice 8 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour, 8 mile an hour gusting to 10 mile an hour breeze out of the north. It's going to be a great day. So come check it out, and I will keep you informed. Like I said, go to the Facebook page, click on the event for the 23rd, September 23rd, and then as more information comes out, we'll make sure that you know all about it. It's going to be a big one. Okay, that is enough talking out of me. Thank y'all so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you next week. Peace.